So what you see here is the latest from Mark Zandi, who is a chief economist for Moody, talking about which states are in recession. He goes back at least 1 month and says approximately one third of the states were already in recession. But there's a couple of things I want to point out here. Well, first, as you can see, the red states are the ones that are at risk, treading water. California, not surprising with all the issues that are going on there with ICE and how that has to affect business. That's more than documented. Nevada. Nevada's interesting. Nevada's typically a blue state, and they voted red this one last time with the Trump presidency. Nevada is getting hammered, and I've written about this, and I'll post those blogs in the video. But they're getting hammered with a there's the tourism has dropped drastically in Las Vegas. There's a 66% occupancy rate there. Why? Because Canadians are not coming over. Same thing that's happening over in New York, where the Canadians are not coming over because all the issues that we have seen with ICE and everything else. And I've even written about Customs Border Patrol checking people's cell phones, even the cell phones of lawyers, which is attorney client privilege, in order to allow them back into the country, even though these people may have gone on vacation. Of course, typically it's been immigration lawyers. Coincidentally, haven't seen anything about a bankruptcy lawyer or a divorce lawyer. So we have that issue there with Nevada. But I want to also reference Florida. Florida seems here like it's good, like it's expanding. But there's a couple issues here where I'll disagree. As you can see, these are the economic factors that they focus on. But I would even say this: state tax. Florida is pushing now to get rid of real estate property tax for homeowners. Sounds like a great idea in practice, and everybody could save a few bucks. But Florida doesn't have income tax. So how are they going to make up the difference with revenue loss? They're not going to do it with tourism because guess who else is number two on that list when it comes to foreclosures? Nevada being number one, Florida number two. Florida is also getting hammered by the lack of tourism. So how might be expansion here, and of course these are the issues that they're focusing on. But when you add in other factors, for example, the real estate's going to be a disaster. You cannot wipe out property tax and expect Florida. States can't file for bankruptcy, but they would be bankrupt. I mean, they're other than revenue, which is down, I think, almost 9%. But Florida is also having issues just with their agriculture. The H-2A visas, which allowed migrants to come over and work legally in the U.S., that isn't going too far these days. And the question is why? Well, very simple. Again, all the ICE raids, the crackdown on immigration. Why would people come to this country and potentially get arrested by ICE? Alligator Alley is gone, but it wasn't too long ago where people have disappeared. Nobody knows where something I think like 800 people are unaccounted for. So the H-2A visas aren't working, so we're having a labor shortage. Of course, this was predicted by me and a million other people from the beginning that these would be the consequences. But there's one more thing I want to mention, and that is 11% on average for school district. Those funds are going to disappear with the dismantling of the Department of Education. So let's look at Florida. Let's go back to my home state here. So Florida loses 11% of their budget for schools. Agricultural, there's a labor shortage, so the tourism is down. This is going to become redder than red anytime soon. So here's a list, where you are. You can clearly see the list and just figure out whether you're treading water at recession. But I think there's going to be some changes, and definitely in Florida and potentially all the other states where tourism is very heavy, especially these two right here. All right. Any questions or comments? Feel free to let me know. And as I've always been saying over and over and over again, there's no denying economically where things are heading. Be prepared.